Creating custom minifigs can be great fun, but with so many different ways to create, you may feel intimidated. Don't let that stop you though. In this video, I'm going to teach you a simple trick that can take your minifig making skills to the next level. As you can see, the stud cuff is a non-permanent customization for any minifig that you feel needs a glove upgrade. What's great about the stud cuff is that these parts are all Lego. A lot of these figures are featuring parts that I've created on my own, so not all of this is stock Lego, but I'm going to show you how you can make these stud cuffs relatively easily. This isn't anything too crazy, and it still has that simplistic charm. Now, as you can see, my snake down here from Metal Gear Solid is in dire need of a glove upgrade. So in this video, I'm going to be creating some glove parts for him using the stud cuff technique. I am not the first person to come up with this. In fact, I don't know even if we know who the first person is. Maybe you can let me know in the comments, but I've seen people use this technique for years now. I don't know who to attribute it to. Again, if you know, let me know down below. Let me quickly show you how the stud cuff attaches to the hand. It's very simple. You just slide it on, and then you can, and then you can attach it to any arm that you like. A lot of people have asked, how do I achieve this? Where do you get these? How do you make them? It's really quite a simple answer. And the answer is that you probably have these parts in your own Lego collection right now. So to show you what parts you can use, here is a fun visual example. I think that got the effect across. So any part that has a open stud on the top will work. I'm sure you could probably achieve this by drilling into a stud as well, but just to keep this easy and not too hard on ourselves, we're just gonna use any parts that have an open stud. And as you can see, there's these like little bottom plates that I have quite a few of. These are my favorite parts to use. There's also a bunch of bricks that have this rounded look going on, and those are going to be great too. Now, let me clean this up and we'll get into how to make this part. Okay, so tools that you are going to need. Here is basically all you will need: an X-Acto knife and any part that has an open stud. Again, these circular ones are going to be great. I'll get into why later, but I much prefer these circular parts to use. I also just want to note this is not the only way you can do this. A lot of people do different ways to achieve this. This is just my way. So if you want to know how I make them, this is how I do them. Also, practice safety. Be very careful. If you need a parent's help with this, please get their help. Don't cut yourself. This is a very dangerous tool, so respect it as a tool. We don't want any missing fingers. All right, so the gloves that I want to create are going to be gray. So I'll use this gray circular part. I don't know the name of these things, but this is what I'll be using. And I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and cut these all off. I usually cut all 4 off at once because then I have 2 sets, because you need 2 for 1 minifig. The first thing I like to do, especially if it's one of these round plates, is just to take the angle of the X-Acto knife and just kind of get it flush and parallel with this rim area right here. The angle you put this in is going to affect how it looks, so please try to keep this straight. I will make sure it's lined up as best as I can. Cut it off. Been a while since I've made these, but here is what I would consider a failure. This is not going to be very good for your minifigures because it is way too thin. Let's do one more attempt and hopefully we can get a better result. All right, that's much better. So I'm just going to set this one off to the side and I will proceed to cut the rest of these ones off. Another fail. Alright, I cut too much off, but that's better than cutting too little off. So I'm just going to bend this whole area off like that. And I would consider this even a success still. Oops. Now we have our 2 stud cuffs. These are both uneven in some ways, but that's totally okay. And I'll show you why, because that is the next step. I forgot to mention the other tool that you may possibly need. This is a optional if you get a wonky looking result like the ones we have here. These are very uneven and kind of butchered, but that's okay. Sandpaper of any kind. I have these sanding sticks, I guess you could say, right here. I think these work great because they are totally flat and you can just rub them across like I'll show you in just a second, and that will give you your best result. All right, so I'm just going to place this on a flat surface and then take this. I like to put the pressure on the angle that's the tallest because that's where I want to take the most material off, but I'll just place that down and then just pull it across. And I'll do this several times. I don't want to make it too thin, so my advice would be to pull it up, check it. Okay, there, we've done almost no damage there. We'll keep going. And I'll just repeat this over and over again, applying some decent pressure, but also trying to just keep that pressure on the angle or area where it's the tallest, because I want this to be kind of even. Not kind of, I want it to be exactly even. But I'll just keep doing this. Now it's kind of stuck in my finger. That's a-okay, because then I can just keep pulling. Okay, this is looking a little bit better. I'll blow that off a bit. And I would suggest maybe trying to do this just with any ones that you do because it's going to be a better result when you try to put it on the wrist, and I'll show you why perhaps later. You know what? This is, I would consider a fail, but it's okay. I think this will still work perhaps. It's uneven, but that's all right. Let's do the other one now, just a tad. Pull this down just a bit. Now these ones are going to be a lot thinner than I'd like, unfortunately. But that's okay. You live and you learn. There's tons of bricks that have these circular things on them. So keep practicing. You maybe practice on some colors that you might not want per se for a figure you are working on. But okay, let's see if the final result, see if this actually still works for what I need. And I think it's going to look okay. Not perfect, but I think it'll look okay. Let me see. Let me line this up down here. All right. Pull this down. Here we go. Here we have the final result. These aren't as bad as I was thinking. They're not perfect, but that's okay. You know, we're not striving for perfection here. We're just striving for passability. And these, I think, pass the test. Okay, so now let me talk a little bit about why I prefer these rounded parts to these more completely circle ones. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just prefer these. Let me explain why. So if you look very close on these circular parts, can you see that edge up here is a little bit more flat than the rest of them? Now that is important because let me show you an example down here of one figure that uses stud cuffs that aren't using those parts. Can you see that little gap in the torso there? So that gap is going to create some tension in the arms that over time, I don't know what will happen, but I don't think it's very positive. So I don't like that. I like to have the arms perfectly flush. Here is a perfect example of a entirely flush result, and that's because I even sanded down these inner parts of the stud cuff so that it will be perfectly flush with the arm. So it's creating no tension on this torso. This is quite a rare torso, so I don't want to do any damage to it. And luckily, by sanding down one of those sides just a tad, it's not going to add any extra pressure there. Totally flush, totally able to just move back and forth. It's perfect. If it's not that big of a deal to you and you don't really care too much, don't worry about it. But I just want to say, you know, if you are thinking about the longevity or preservation of your minifig parts, if that's important to you, make sure you take note of either using these, which are good but not perfect. The best thing you could do is to sand it down even a bit more. Maybe I'll show you how I might do that. What I would probably do is to take an X-Acto knife. Let me actually pop this arm off. What I would probably do is I would take an X-Acto knife. Again, this is very dangerous, so proceed with caution. But I would just take it flush with this arm here and just press very slightly towards the hand to cut that inner area off. Now that's going to make this stud cuff very thin, and it's actually going to be kind of delicate, but it's going to be the best way to, I mean, you could also sand it, so that works too, but cutting it or sanding it some way to keep it flush is going to preserve the longevity of your minifig parts. I don't want to be responsible for doing any damage to your minifigs unknowingly. Just keep that in mind that, you know, putting these stud cuffs on long term, you know, maybe keeping them on for a photo and taking them off after might be the move. But keeping them on long term, you do run the risk of damaging your parts. Just keep that in mind. I should have put that in the beginning, I guess, of this video, but just keep that in mind. Don't damage your parts. Do these steps right, correct. Blah, 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 blah. All right, that's really all there is to it. That's the art of the stud cuff. That's how you create your own stud cuffs. And here we have the stud cuffs we created in this video. Again, they're not perfect. They're a little wonky. You know, one is a bit bigger than the other one, but that's fine. We'll hide the errors on the back because, as you can see, I don't really care what shows on the back. I just care about taking a photo for these guys, and I think these stud cuffs complement this snake quite well. But yeah, if you want to achieve this, proceed with caution. Know that you're damaging all of your arms if you don't sand them down on the inside, or torsos, I don't know. And you're also cutting up Lego, so we're modifying parts here. This is a damaging thing to do, but it can create some really fun things, and I think that's what at the heart of Lego really is meant to do and be and is expressing yourself, create new things, chop things up and put them together, and that's what Lego's for. It's fun, and don't let anyone tell you how you can and can't play with your toys. Chop them up, cut them in half, and make new things. It's fun. Woo! That's what Lego is, and that's what creativity is about. So if you find this interesting, please, please, please drop this a like, drop the video a like, and subscribe. You right there watching the video, subscribe. I got feedback that pointing at the camera was very effective last video, so subscribe. Also, speaking of the last video, while I'm here rambling, I'm just adding time to the end of this video, I guess now, but while I'm rambling, thank you for the response on the previous video about the showcase for the Batman stuff. I'm gonna be doing more, so keep that in mind. This is a new tutorial type video. I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos like those showcases. I'm also, keep this in mind, doing some heavily edited content, some high production value content with the help of some amazing editors. So keep that in mind too. There's gonna be a lot of different types of content floating around this channel. If you are at all interested in that and you love these type of videos, or the other type of videos that will be on the channel coming very soon, subscribe, turn on the bell, and twitch.tv/inputbrick. Check it out, twitch.tv/inputbrick. I stream every single morning. Sometimes I stream in the middle of the day, but every day I stream, and it's a blast. It's so much fun hanging out with you. I create all of these parts. It's really fun to hang out with everyone. So please drop by the stream and hang out and be a regular. Be a part of this awesome community. It's really fun. I love hanging out with you guys. So if you are at all interested in seeing these beautiful things to be created, please stop by. The link is in the description. Please, if you have an Amazon Prime account and you're not using it on someone, you right there, use your Amazon Prime sub on me. That's it. That's all I have to say. Please subscribe to this channel. Drop in the comments if this was helpful. Drop in the comments if you want to see a tutorial that I haven't done yet. What's the next tutorial you want to see? What do you want me to ramble at the end of each video about? If you've stayed this long in the video, I don't know. You're awesome. Thank you for watching. I don't have anything else to say other than thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and expect some amazing content. I'm about to drop the best video that's ever been put on this channel with the help of some awesome people. So subscribe so you can see that. Subscribe. I'm just rambling, but I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.